the new location for me today. I've tucked away in the warehouse. I've actually popped myself underneath the skylight, so I've got nice lighting. And I've chunked myself in here primarily because the office is going manic. Claire's really busy in there. My usual room that I broadcast from is being hosted by the Parkify Spinners today. They are in there right as we speak, which is just fabulous. It's the first time we've had them there, and it's great. So good to have the room used. So they're all in there at the moment. So I thought I would pop out here to the warehouse, and because it's nice and quiet and lighting is good, and have a catch up with you here. So here I am. How was everyone this morning? Crazy weather in the top half of the North Island over the last day or so. So I'm assuming if you are in definitely lockdown 3 zone, you've got plenty of knitting done over the last 24 hours or so. It has been fairly crazy. I have to say, I've been chucking along really well. Oh, morning, Vicky. She's saying, oh, right, still raining in Pukekohe, Vic. Oh, and now, Vicky, are you actually? That's a good question. You'd be just outside the zone, I'm assuming. Anywho, it was crazy, and I think you guys have got thunderstorms and stuff. Oh, weird weather. At least your dams are going to get full. Hopefully, that's going to be great news for the drought. No, anyway, back to me knitting. Back to me. It's all about me. Knitting. I have been did a little bit more work on the Nanilchik last night, which is great. And I have been playing around. I tell you what I had a big play around with yesterday was I put the newsletter out on Tuesday. Sorry, it was late. And I had some patterns in there with Cascade, because Cascade have got wonderful pattern support, like really brilliant pattern support. So I popped up the links to the pattern pages that they had for the 3 yarns that we had in store, which are the 220 prints, the Melilla, I can always get Melilla, I always get that wrong, and the Roslyn. And I had a number of questions from people saying, well, what about crochet patterns? What about other patterns? And I thought, I'll have a little dive in, because they have such a massive range of yarns. I mean, we've only just taken 3, but the range they have is huge. And I had a little dive around on the site yesterday. Wow, it's fantastic. Look, if you sometimes I know people are really struggling with the new Ravelry format, or you just find that you jump into Rav and it is literally going down. It's like Alice going down the rabbit hole, and you're just struggling to find what you're looking for. And often too, when you finally get what you're looking for and you even put in all the criteria in the advanced search, it comes up with a skill that you're not up to or a technique that you don't like, and it just all gets a bit, ugh. This Cascade site is great. Like and I was kind of hoping to have my act together today and do it so I could do a screen share and run you through it. And when I, because this is me. I mean, you're lucky that I'm managing to stream. So I will actually get that figured out, because apparently I have the capability of doing this with this program. I haven't figured it out yet. I will, I promise, eventually, like everything. It'll be a Marie round to it. Anywho, had a little look, and there is so much. And because they have so many yarns, there's a lot of patterns that are designed for specific yarns, because obviously they're doing pattern support for that particular yarn. But so many of those yarns can cross over because they're different weights, and all they are a slightly different construction or a different composition or whatever it may be, a slightly different style. So once I started delving in and having a look at all of that, I then could see so many different things that were in there. And I was like, oh, wow, you could do this with it, or you could do that with it, and that would be really amazing in this yarn. And so do jump in and have a look. They also have it divided out into knitting patterns and crochet patterns. So if you are a hooker and you're looking for some crochet patterns, they have loads there. So do go and check that out. I've got one to show you today. Yes, it is written in American terminology, but I know that you guys are used to switching and jumping around, so you should be able to do that. No trouble whatsoever. So before I go launching into, actually, no, I'll do it now. So when I jumped in, one of the ones that I think was in the link from the other day that popped up straight away was this one here from Malila, which is the, there we go, it's called the Plum Crazy Wrap, which they've done for the Plum. And the Plum just happens to be one of the yarns that we have. And I mean, look at that. And I don't know about you, but you know, this is the thing. This is a really simple, straightforward wrap. It is literally it's super easy. This is mindless lockdown, simple TV watching, binge knitting. This is as binge knit as it gets, this one. You're looking at a 7-row repeat, and of those 7 rows, 6 of them are knit. So it's super easy with just essentially a little yarn over row in between to give you something a little bit of pizzazz. What it is a pattern which allows the yarn to do all the work, which ultimately is what it's about, isn't it? When you've got something as beautiful as this, with, as you can see, with all those colours, the yarn is going to do all the work for you. And it's just a really great, simple, easy wrap. And if you're somebody who hasn't picked up the needles for a really long time, and you're wanting something really simple to do, this is just perfect. Now, what are they saying here? It takes 4 of those will get you that stunning, beautiful wrap. And if you wanted to make it bigger, you add more to it. But it's, yeah, that as a starter pattern, I just think is absolute winner chicken dinner. So that was the first one I wanted to show you. The next one that I wanted to show you is actually one that they did in a yarn which they had called Plushes, which is it's actually a polyester effect yarn, which is something that we don't have. But I grabbed it because it was knitted to exactly the same gauge, and it's in this really simple capelet style poncho, written bottom up. It's just called bottom up poncho. And these style of ponchos, as you can see, I'm a lover of a poncho. This style of capelet type poncho is perfect for our New Zealand climate because it's something that we can pop over. I saw Margaret said there before, you know, it's 20 degrees here in Napier today. I mean, I'm about to shed this soon. It's cool in the morning, but we're in a climate where it heats up quite quickly during the day. But sometimes, you know, at the beginning and the end of the day, you just need something to throw over just to keep the chill off. This sort of thing is perfect. Now, you know, we're natural yarn people. We don't necessarily want to do this in a polyester yarn, but the styling is bang on. You know, that's exactly the sort of style that we want to play around with. This is perfect. Knitted on a 5.5mm needle. It's using, the yarn it's using is 3 skeins at 136 meters. Now, the Malila is 200 meters. So you will actually get away, this here, you could almost get away with 2, but 3 balls of Malila will do this poncho. And I pulled this out. This is the greys. And see, these greys in this poncho would be fantastic. They've just done this in one size, but it is just really simple. It is done in the round, but it is like as easy as it gets. If you're looking for an easy in the round pattern, this is it. Really simple decreasing for the yoke. It just goes straight up, and you could done on a 5.5mm needle, which is what this is. But if you're wanting to sort of upscale it or downscale it and play around with some needles and some double stranding, you could do this too. And I'm going to talk about that a little in a moment. So that's another one to check out. And then, for those who love to do some crochet, I didn't miss you out. And there we go. Oh, look, it's even charted on the back. Look at that. Look at that. This is so sweet. Seriously, I'm not a big crocheter, but I'm just looking at this chart on the back. I have to admit, for me, I find it easier to read crochet charts than what I do crochet patterns. It's just me. I think it's because it's pictorial. Look at that. Yes. Anyway, that is the crochet pattern, and it is so sweet. But look at that. It's perfect. So this was written for Ultra Pima Fine. Now, Ultra Pima Fine is their alpaca yarn. Let me just open this up. So it's a Pima cotton. Sorry, Pima cotton. Tell a lie. It's a cotton yarn. But this roslyn would be perfect because of it's wool silk and the high silk content. So it has a memory very similar to a cotton. They are using here, they're saying 125. So let me have a look. Let me do some quickety maths here. So 350. So hold on, 250, 750 meters is what you need. On this, you get 700 with 2 of these. So grab 3. This is a beautiful thing with a crescent, with a triangular shawl. You just keep going. Easy. Just keep going until you get the size that you want. So you could do a slightly smaller one with 2, really big one with 3 of those. And it's just a really, really simple, I mean, as I said, here we go. That's because she's a wee tiny thing, the lass in the picture, but look at that. That's that size there. I could manage that. Definitely manage that looking at the chart. So pretty, absolutely so pretty. So I wanted to bring these up because these are patterns that don't sit under the yarn recommendations, but they're ones that you could easily substitute across without any issues whatsoever. So I think that if you're looking for ideas, you're stuck for ideas and inspiration, do go and check out that website. If you've got the newsletter from the other day, I think I've got the links there, which takes you directly to those, but you can actually jump back out, and I'll try and remember to put the link in. I think it's just cascadeyarns.com. Oh, in fact, I've got it sitting. Look, I've even got it sitting. Oh, stop it. Look at me. There we go. Here we go. I'm going to do that for you right now so I don't forget. Oh, okay. So go through and have a look at all. Do spend a little bit of time and have a little bit of a dig around with that. Now, the other thing, I put this on today, and this is the poncho that I knitted after I'd spent some time with Stephen. I was feeling nostalgic because, of course, this time last year, I'm right in the thick of getting ready for things for Cannes. Stephen arrived into New Zealand, and I spent some time with him. And this was actually something that I knitted after spending that time with him. I got really inspired. Something that Stephen does better than I believe anybody else is that he gives you permission to break the rules. Because as far as he's concerned, when it comes to knitting and crochet, there are no rules. You just throw them all out the window and you just have fun. And he gives you the permission to do that, because sometimes you do have a tendency to go, well, this is what's going to work, and all of those sorts of constraints. And he just throws caution to the wind and just sends them out the window. And that's fantastic. So this is something that I made after spending that time with him. And it was a variation to a pattern that I've been working on in Albertine. And yes, no, I have got that pattern. I wore that poncho the other day too. Haven't written it up. I'll get there. It's on the round to it. It's on the Marie round to it list. I will get there doing it. But this is a poncho that is made with, in fact, I've got the yarn just sitting here. I had some of this in my stash, which is Malabrigo Rasta. If you've got Texas in your stash from us, or what else we did do something? Oh, Natural Wonder from Crochet. It's very similar to this. It's just a super chunky yarn. And I had this anyway, sitting in my stash. And I mean, look at those colours. I mean, hello. How can you not love it? And I kept looking at it thinking, I'm really got to do something with that yarn. And I sort of had a look at the super chunky patterns that were around, and nothing really took my fancy. And I didn't have enough. Like I only had 3 skeins of this, I think. And I didn't have enough to do like a complete sort of pattern for me. And I thought, well, how do I take the amount that I have and create a garment where this can shine? And that's where this poncho, and I thought, well, I really want to do another poncho. So I went stash diving into my stash, and I came out with colours that sort of kind of were complementary to this. And I've got like a very bright lime green in there. I've got another random print yarn in there, which I had, and I've got a mohair with some stellina, which was a sample that we'd played around with in the mill eons ago, and Ian Kelly had given me just a single hank. All I had was one hank of that, a few balls of the lime green, and a cup, and just one random. It was actually one ball of white gum wildflowers in DK, which is this wonderful, beautiful speckled print. And I got out a pair of really super chunky needles, and voila, this was born. So I mentioned to you guys yesterday, of course, when I was playing around at home doing the swatching with the roslyn and the mohair, which is coming. I promise you that is definitely coming. And I had, oopsie, this sitting on my basket next to my chair with that, and I'd been stash diving looking for something else and found this, which is not as chunky as this is a 12 ply, but it was just utterly beautiful. And I just looked at that and thought, oh gosh, those two just, they scream, they speak to each other. So then I thought, well, I just wanted to show you how simple it is when these things speak, to actually just throw caution to the wind and sit down and just play and see if you can come up with something amazing. And before you go, oh, but I don't have a pattern, I don't have this, tush tosh, make something up. And it was that Malila wrap, the plum wrap, that got me thinking about it. So I jumped back onto the website and I dug around. Where is it? And I started having a look for other options. There it is. And I came across this. And I've also got some yarn that I bought while I was in the States earlier this year. And it's actually a single roving, not too similar to this in terms of thickness, one colour. And also these beautiful, it's an Italian yarn. It's like mohair and it's got sequins and speckles and it is like crazy. But they're all colour toned. And I'm like, well, what do I do with those? You know, how do I create something with them which is really special and amazing? And the trick is you want to do something that gives you a bit of pop, and you play around and you can do something really simple. And of course a wrap makes perfect sense. When it comes to doing a wrap or even a poncho like this, essentially all this is a rectangle, which I've gone and sewn a shoulder seam in, and then I happen to put a neckline on it. And that's when I came across this. This is called the Simple Shimmering Stole. It's for a yarn that they have called Lumiosa. But all it is a simple knit two, yarn over, knit two together, repetitive pattern. Again, this is a design that lets the yarn do the talking. So I took that concept and I thought, okay, just as an example for today, you can hear the vans. Just so you're aware, so I'm sitting here in the warehouse looking at our back door. The plumbing, we've got Micro Plumbing right next to us. So there's, and the plumber's tradesman's entrance is literally right next door. So if you hear lots of trucks and vans go past, that's why that is. Anyhow, I took that concept there. I went out and just grabbed, this is out from our teaching kit out the front. These are 12mm needles. I grabbed this because that's what I had sitting on my desk. These two, because again, that's what I had sitting on my desk. And I looked at them and I thought, they still need a pop of colour. So this is just a sample bag left over from different bits and pieces. How many of you have got this? Have got these? We gave these away as freebies a while ago in a promotion. This is what I'm going to show you, is the perfect way of using some of these ribbon yarns up if you've got them. So I had those in there. And anyway, in this bag of tricks was just this little bit of Perendale cyclamen, which is now covered in dust because I dropped it on the floor. And I thought that will give it a little bit of an extra zing. And all I did was take them. This is a 12mm needle. Now, if I'm going to be entirely honest with you, I would probably do this with the number of yarns that I've got there, I would do this on a 15 actually, even more, but I didn't have a 15 handy. What I had was these, which I'm pretty certain are 12s. But I just, seriously, that's why I was a couple of minutes late. I was whipping this up just to show you how fun something like that can look. Now, I could do just a straight scarf with that if I wanted to. And all that is what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stitches. And all I've done is knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together to the end with a knit 2 at the end. That's it. And it gives you this sort of kind of slightly crazy looking, I mean, imagine once you block that out, it would look really cool. But it's just an awesome fabric, and it's loads of fun, and it's a brilliant way of using up crazy unicorn skeins of yarn and scraps and bits and pieces. And it's just, I mean, that took me 10 minutes just to decide what I was going to do, pull the yarns together and just get that little bit done. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you need to shake yourselves out of a paradigm. I know I've mentioned this before, but you sort of kind of do. And using resources like all these wonderful patterns from Cascade, which are free, and if you're wondering about what am I going to make with some of these yarns, these are some of the things that you can do, which is why I wanted to mention the greys here before. I mean, look at that, just fabulous. We're hoping to get listed some effect yarns that had come in from the mill, and these are polyester effect yarns, which we often during the spinning process will add to other yarns to actually give you an effect. And in there, we've got some really amazing lurexes. These are a goldy lurex. I think there could be a silver lurex, definitely a gold one. There's a polyester one with different colours. Those are the sorts of yarns that once we get those listed, they're off being with the wonderful Steph, hopefully she'll get them today, to get photographed. And these are the sorts of things that you can do. Don't be afraid to experiment. When this mohair comes in, it's going to be perfect, because what this does is add texture. It adds texture. It allows you to add bulk without weight, if that makes any sense. And see, even this is the soft pink with these greys, you could do something like a poncho or a wrap. This still does most of the talking, but it gives you some more latitude to do some stuff that's really, really fun. And throw caution to the wind. Shake yourself out of that paradigm that it has to look exactly like the picture. Because we all know that I am the queen of modifications. When do I ever knit anything that looks like the picture? I just don't. In fact, it's almost like I drive Claire bananas, because, of course, if I'm going to make something for a sample for the shop, right, she'll say to me, Marie, can you at least make it so it looks remotely like the picture on the pattern? Because that's what people want. Yeah, I try, which is why they hate it when I do the sample knitting, because that's what happens. I go off on a tangent and I start making modifications, and I never write them down because Chardonnay is usually involved, like when I design things like this. And yeah, but you know what? Just throw caution to the wind, because it can be a bit of fun. Hold on, let's see what everyone's up to. Oh my word, look at everybody. Crikey, I'm a bit slack this time. Oh, there we go. I've got that in. Let's have a look. Oh gosh, so this is what happens now. I've reached this wonderful tender age. You may have noticed I had glasses on. Right, so let's see what's going on. Ooh, Suzanne's ordered some. Oh, you managed to get some Stoker, Suzanne. And hopefully we'll get that across the ditch to you very, very shortly. Right. Oh, good morning, Sam. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. It's so good to see everybody today. It's awesome. It's so funny. Right, okay. Who was I going with this? Brian Engage. Anyway, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do that. Have a little bit of laugh. I will actually eventually get round to doing this. And in fact, I'm seeing Ethan, hopefully, fingers crossed, next week. And I'll be able to convince him to, if I don't actually have to write up too much of it and I can just give him my scribbles, I might be able to convince him to get this poncho written up, which will be great. I am working on a third one, actually. I think I might have shown you guys that one during the quarantine diary. It's a purple one, and it's done in a DK, which is taking, of course, a lot longer. It's I mentioned my scraps crochet blanket, which I actually did a bit of work on the other night, and which I love, actually. It was really nice. It was it was I can't remember what day it was, but it was a day that I was just whacked. And I thought, if I pick up that Nanelchik poncho, I'm guaranteed to make an absolute monumental stuff up because I'm that tired. So I just picked up Scrap's Blankie instead. And I actually I'd finished my trebles and got onto starting just doing my single crochet. And I know I call me crazy. I just find something so wonderfully therapeutic about doing single crochet in the round. It is the most repetitious thing in the world, and I love it, particularly when I'm whacked. Anywho, in this other poncho that I have in the DKs in the purples is in my knitting bag, which again is my sort of when I've got nothing else to go to pattern, and it's the one that I pick up and put down. And I've been working on it for ages. Like, there's no massive hurry on it. And I'm probably about 50% of the way through it now, because I've done the sort of crazy coloured portion, and then I'm now on to the premium yarn, or the sort of main colour that I've got with it is another Malabrigo, actually. It might be a worsted or a DK, I can't remember. And then what I'm doing is I'm interlacing a whole bunch of stripes at the beginning and the end in just this really random crazy shit of stuff that I have at home. Like, there is one is a Gash Hank weaving yarn that we had at work, which is sort of like kind of funny purpley hues with another wrap around it, and it's like as weird and crazy as you could get, but it spoke to me. What else? Oh, homespun, like early homespun. I'm talking stuff that I spun back when I was creating things that weren't necessarily suitable for knitted garments. But it was in those purpley colours. Oh, there's all sorts of weirds and wonderfuls. And I've got this crazy sort of bluey, blackish lurex effect yarn, which I had left on a bit of a cone from my office that's in there as well. So it is, yeah. It's one of those, and it's crazy every night, and it's because it's this pattern is actually very, very simple, and it is actually one of those things that you can do it. Now, hold on, what's Deb saying? Oh God, this is how I do my knitting and crocheting. You're also the frog queen. Okay, so Deb, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I don't frog a lot, but I do frog. I mean, I talked to you about my was it the gold wing? What did I do the other day? And I had to frog back, and I had discovered the big mistake. Oh, yeah, it was my gold wing, right? And I'd actually done on my bottom, my thingy, I did my short rows on the wrong side. And I had to frog like a whole day's worth of knitting back. Same. But you know what, Debs, when it comes to this freeform stuff, that's why I love it, because I never frog. Like, Stephen B has this really great thing. If you ever get a chance, actually, and I know the times aren't great for those of us here in New Zealand, but I know there's a few Americans in there at the minute. He also has moved a lot of his tutorials online, because, of course, no one can do tutorials anymore because of the COVID, and he has gone and moved those online, and he's running a lot of he's got a setup really organized now. I can tell you, if you have ever had chance to do a class with Stephen, they're incredible. They really are incredible. And he's got all these wonderful Stephenisms that he has, or B-isms as I like to call them, and you just come away quite fizzed, which is how I ended up with this. And he talks about, Debs, he talks about when you're going through and doing something and doing a pattern, not worrying about where you're actually with something. And he's done so many samples of the processes of how something will end up being created. So a really great example of that is that he will be playing around with some yarns and actually putting stuff through, and then he's realized that, oh, okay, I've done 3 rows of that, or 4 rows of that. Oh, I don't have enough to do that, so I'll only do 2 on the other side. And as he said, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And he covers a lot of that sort of stuff off. So I think it's a really neat way of just, as I said, he gives you permission to go, I'll just deal with that. I'll just work with it, because it is what it is. So it is. It's a great way of just shaking things loose, which I think is fantastic. So go and check that out. Right, Nanelchik, let's show you where I'm at with this. I had to reprint out the pattern because the pattern's still sitting at home. I did actually do some stuff on this last night. Hold on, let me put all this back in a bowl before I get yarn everywhere and I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Look, I've got this all sitting in here so it doesn't get lost. Okie dokie. Right. I have done, so I think I put you guys a bit crook. I said on here there was only one round where you were working with 3 colours. I lied. I got it wrong with 2. And it's in the same chart. Yes. So this is where I'm at the moment. I want to chart C. And so there's 2 rounds in chart C. Oh, this is this one here. Oh, other way. There we go. That one there. There's 2 rounds in chart C where you do have to work with 3 colours, but it is really straightforward. So that's where I'm at the minute. And I am super happy with how the colours are coming together. I forgot to put me thingy in, but I'm going to show this to you. So the one modification I have done already is, oh, there we go, is in here. And the pattern here, she has that as main colour. I really, really like Chapel, the orange. So I have actually put, I made that Chapel because I can. The other thing I have to say about this, because the way the design is done, if you wanted to, because you've got 2 lots of major keyhole parts of the pattern, right? So you've got that keyhole up there, which I did Chapel, and then you've got this keyhole down here. Now, I haven't yet decided whether I'm going to go Chapel in that or whether or not I'm going to go main colour. I really, really didn't. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that yet. I haven't decided. I think I'll probably go Chapel, only because I really like the orange. I really like the Chapel, so that's what I'll probably do. Now, if you were knitting this and you are wanting to jazz it up a little bit, because of that, those sort of keyhole windows there, and then again up there, if you had some really crazy textured yarn, like something with a bit of texture or boucle or fuzz or sparkle or what have you, that could even, if you were going to introduce a 5th colour into this, that would possibly be complementary. Those 2 portions is where I would introduce it. If you've got something in your bag like that, I mean, we've all got them, or even something like this, or the Noro. You know what I'm like with my Noro. That if I'd had some Noro left over from the Rambler, for example, if you've got something crazy that sits within the weight of whatever you're doing, and you're wanting to throw it in to add a little bit of that's where I would do it. So I'm not going to do that on this one. I have to say I'm really enjoying knitting this. As far as colour work goes, it's about as easy as it gets, I have to say. It's very straightforward, lovely geometric shapes, just flow like super fast. And I think, is it Adele, Joy or Adele? I think Adele. I think I've seen you knitting it, and it's just, you're going great guns. It is fantastic. So that is, I'll see you later, Charles. Take care. It is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And that's where I will introduce it. So that is what I've done. So I've got the Chapel there. I will probably do the Chapel in that next chart D in the window in that as well. I've already done my second lot of increasing, which is in that main section there. And so far so good. As you can see, she's looking all right. Oh, that's the back. Let's spin it around. There you go. There's the front. Really thoroughly enjoying it. It is so lovely, though, to work this sock mortician yarn is so lush. It is amazing. Seriously lush. And I think because I've worked with so much Southlander lately, which is more rustic, it is, it's crazy. Absolutely gorgeous. So loving that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a bit more time on that over the weekend. What else do I have to tell you? Oh, there is a massive lot of restocks I told you about on Tuesday. We have had another big lot come in. However, a lot of that, or over half of that, is stuff that is new product, and they're one-offs, little weird, crazy quirky bits from the mill, and they are things that are just currently, again, Steph got sent a massive bag of stuff yesterday. We sent it up. So we're getting Steph to photograph all the Cascades for us, except for two of the Roslins, which are the Peridot and the Orange, I think. Is it which of the two of the Roslins that we're nearly out of? Peridot and Orange? Yes. Is it olive? No, I've got tons of olive, I think. Peridot, not orange, it is. So those two, we're only down to, I think, the last less than 3 bags of those. So if you like those two, you definitely want to get them stocked up now. Everything else, including the prints, the rest of these, so like the Lagoon and the Grape and the olive of this, and the Melilas, we're going to actually get those photographed from Steph. Cascade did provide us photos, but Steph's photos are amazing, and will give us photos that are also consistent with all our other images. And what Steph does up at Available Light is she goes through and she colour balances and colour matches everything. So then that way we can guarantee to the best of our ability we're going to give you the best colour match. And also too, what Steph does for us as well, and is she gives us a full ball end on, and I think particularly with the Melilas and also even with the hanks, she wraps them around, you can actually get a really good feel for what the colours are, which at the moment, using the little thumbnails, you're not quite getting that. So those are coming, which I think will really help you with your yarn selections. So that is definitely coming. And in there are these other yarns that we're getting her to photograph, including some of the alpacas, which once I've got those back from her, I will launch. We're still waiting for 2 more to come in, but they're taking forever. So I'm going to launch with the 4 that I've got back. What else? Yes. So there's still stuff. Oh, yeah. This coming weekend, we have got the beautiful Susan Hagedorn. She is arriving, and we've got a class in store here, which is sold out on Saturday. And we've also got 2 more classes next week with Suze. So we're really looking forward to those. It'll be so good to see her. Suze is, and I see Shan's in the chat today. Suze was one of our tutors on Can Cruise, and Vicky's here too. She was another Can Cruiser. We had a great time with them, and Susan's going to do those classes, and I've already spoken to someone else as well about some more classes in the future. So we're really starting to get our act together to be able to start doing some classes for those. So it kind of like, even though we feel like we're not doing much for Ken, by having some classes here, it does feel really good, like we are starting to things are starting to happen. And the big announcement that I was wanting to do for the Watch the Space for the 29th, which is next Saturday, I will be making that decision firmly after the Prime Minister's announcement tomorrow. I'm pretty optimistic we're going to go ahead, but 24 hours is a long time in the world of COVID, so we're just wanting to make sure that there are no curveballs thrown at us tomorrow. She's been very, very positive up until now in the latest press briefings, that I think that Aucklanders will see a relaxing, and hopefully us here in the rest of the country will see a relaxing as well. So if that happens, we will definitely be hopefully, fingers crossed, doing something next Saturday to sort of mark that Can Saturday. And don't panic for those of you who can't make it. I've already spoken to Claire. We will hatch a plan to do something across those Can Days online, so you guys will not be missing out. There you go. I think it's me for today. I've rabbited on enough. I've been yabbity do. I hope everyone is doing well. Take care wherever it is that you are, and stay well. I actually caught up with my host's sister this week. I was an exchange student in the late 80s into the US, and I had a phone call with her, and she was at home with corona. She's got COVID. So I had a big long chat with her, and it was just so nice to actually catch up. So hopefully everyone else, if you are not here in New Zealand and you're in Australia or the US, I hope you're staying safe and staying well. And yes, I will definitely be back to catch up with you on Monday. I will be here. Until then, have a great weekend. Stay dry and throw some caution to the wind. I challenge you guys, because remember, it's still can colour. I've got great prizes which we're pulling together. I've got some beautiful bags from the lovely Jeanette. I've got some wonderful yarns that we're pulling together with those. I've got some other quirky stuff that I haven't shown you, some new yarns that are coming in that we're going to put some bundles together. I might even dig some stuff out of my stash that could go up in prizes. Do post things up. I want you to get out into your stashes this weekend and start playing around, even if you just start knitting around and show us some of your ideas. Throw caution to the wind. Live a little. You know you can. All right, until then, take care. Have a great weekend, and